All right, everybody. How's everybody doing right now? So, what we're going to be working on is the lesson that deals with cause and effect. So, this is sort of a web quest in a way, but not 100% a web quest, as we'll see in just a few moments. So, it's called Got Grievances Part 2, Cause and Effect Web Quest. The instructions are use the Got Grievances Part 2 reading to complete the cause and effect chart below. In addition, respond to the higher order thinking question that goes with each particular event or part of the chart. Videos are also provided to add additional context. You don't have to watch the videos. It's just basically if you want to get a little bit more information, you want some additional visuals to provide you with a little bit of extra understanding, you can watch those particular videos to help enhance your understanding of the particular events. So what we're going to do is we see that there is 5 sets of cause, effects, and higher order thinking questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to work on the very first one together, and then you will work on the remaining 4 examples. So as I can see by the first particular one, it says use no stamps, no tax, and we said no stamps, no tax sections of the text. So I need to read those 2 sections of the text in order to complete my chart over here. So let's begin. We're going to read that together. No stamps, no tax. In 1765, Parliament introduced the Stamp Act, a new tax that required a stamp for all printed items, including newspapers, legal documents, and even playing cards. Colonists were angry. American colonists, they were angry that the tax was being imposed without their consent of the colonial legislatures. They feared that this set a precedent of no taxation without representation. Parliament was confused. There was a need for money, and to raise it, they had no choice but to levy or collect taxes on all British subjects, including those individuals in the American colonies. This logic did little to win over the colonists, who had been in charge of setting their own taxes for so long. English governing documents, now we've studied this before, like the Magna Carta, had as long established the rights of British citizens. They couldn't be taxed without in some way having their say. By October 1765, the colonies decided to organize, and they sent representatives to a meeting in New York City that became known as the Stamp Act Congress. They met to discuss the colonists' rights as British subjects, declaring that only their colonial legislatures had the right to tax them. They elected no representative to Parliament, so there was no American who had votes in the British Parliament, and therefore had not given their consent to any taxes that Parliament decided to impose or place on them. Let's continue, as it says, keep reading below. We said no stamps, no tax. While the Congress decided on a political response, men and women began protests and using boycotts, that publications, and sometimes violence. So when you boycott something, by the way, that means that you are choosing not to buy the particular product. They wrote letters and newspaper articles urging colonists to refuse to pay the tax. In Boston, a new political group known as the Sons of Liberty formed and attacked the office and home of the Stamp Commissioner. They burned an effigy, that's a dummy that represented him, as a warning. The commissioner quickly resigned or stepped down. By November 1st, 1765, when the Stamp Act was to go into effect, there were no longer any stamp commissioners left in the colonies to collect the tax. Okay, we have just read those 2 sections of the text. We now need to take a look at our particular chart. Let's take a look. So we see our cause here. I don't need to answer anything because it does not say answer here, there. In 1765, Parliament introduced the Stamp Act, which was a new tax that required a stamp for all printed items. So if I want to watch an additional video about that, all I got to do is hit Control left click over this particular link, and I can open it up if I want to. So now I see an effect. I need to answer this right over here. It says the Stamp Act Congress met in New York to discuss. Well, what did they do? Let's take a look. I gotta refer back to my text, and I know what they did was that they discussed the colonists' rights as British subjects. They said that only their colonial legislatures, that would be group of lawmakers, could tax them since they did not have representation in Parliament. In addition to that, in effect was that there was this particular group of people called the Sons of Liberty. And what did the Sons of Liberty do? Sons of Liberty created and began protesting the Stamp Act, which included doing such things as boycotting British goods and burning dummies of tax collectors. So now that I know what the cause and effect is here, I need to answer this higher order thinking question of why did the Stamp Act make American colonists so angry? And we have over here, it says, hint, use taxation without representation or some form of that in our answer. So let's see. What is our answer? The American colonists believed that Great Britain did not have the right to tax them since the American colonists had no say or vote in the British Parliament. That's the lawmaking body in Great Britain. They believed in the idea that they should not be taxed without representation when it came to making decisions in government. All right, everybody. Now that we have gone over the very first example, what you want to do is you want to continue working on numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, let me or your teacher know.